What does it feel like to make a full loaded backswing? To have the pressure working from your trail side back to the middle while your hip turns, your shoulder turns behind the golf ball, and you're in a position to absolutely rip it. I went through 3 of my favorite drills with a client just the other day. We've got the step drill, been around for a long time. I mean, TPI guys use it all the time.
As my arms pass my body, I step.
It's a bit of a Happy Gilmore where you're getting that left foot to step to get the pressure working towards the target. That's number 1. Great place to start to actually feel what does it feel like to move your pressure lead side. The second one, from basically the long drive board, from what I've seen, one of Justin James's favorites.
I love the drop step. So I'll be here, drop step, swing.
Is where you get a step with your trail foot back, and then you learn to push off your right foot or your trail foot back to the target as you turning. And then the last one is the old 2-step, which almost a version of the golf dance that I personally like and love. I don't really know where I've got it from, maybe from cricket or something.
Oh my goodness.
But we'll be trying to get the trail foot and then the lead foot to step back into position by the time you get to the top where you can rip it. Let's watch the video, see what value we can get out of it, and discuss as we go. So, ground mechanics. You're dead right. As you're finishing that backswing, you want to definitely have your peak amount of energy lead side. But effectively, shifting of energy is always, in most players, a forward, and then it is a back. You correct to get the thing in motion. Yeah. There's always this forward, back to get into motion. But effectively, anytime the hands get past the trail pocket, or the left arm gets parallel, somewhere in here, the pressure, which leads mass, so you first have pressure shift before you actually see a mass movement, starts to work towards the target. Yeah, okay. And the more you have energy going that way, or the more... All right, I think that right there is such an important thing that a lot of, I suppose, golf instruction, I don't know if it is or it isn't based on this enough, but certainly from a teaching aspect, the one thing that's changed a lot in the last few years as I started doing more pressure mapping and more ground force stuff was actually the learning that this is pretty much the end of the backswing far as pressure goes. Like, really? But yeah, I mean, that's your max load. As the club is the furthest away from the target, that's generally max load trail side. From there, the club, as it starts to go towards the target, you start to move your pressure. Not your upper body, but your pelvis especially starts to turn. Head can stay back, but your pressure in the ground starts to turn towards the target. So pretty much that's backswing, and this is the start of your downswing. Interesting. Speed you have of club head going that way with pressure going the other way, well, the more force you're going to generate. Yeah, okay. So obviously I've got 2 or 3 favorite drills that are really, really good at that. My first favorite one, real simple to get a feel for it, the evolution we're going to end up doing is this one, where you go forward, right, left, and through. Surprisingly tricky. So the first one to get used to is feet together, club forward, and then as you are throwing the club head back, and the bonus of throwing the club head back is as you throw it back, it naturally gets on a good plane. It's a beautiful thing. But yeah, I didn't say low and slow. I know it might look like a snatchy concept where the club's being ripped back as opposed to going slowly into a position and then trying to yank the handle too much. It's just a case of understanding that generating speed on the way back helps a lot with generating speed on the way through. There's a very direct correlation in the tempo of most high-speed players. Club head's moving fast on the way back with most of them, like a Rory.
Late on some of them.
Rory McIlroy,
or Bryce, and the club's moving fast back. We're going to find our exceptions of guys that are like in a slow motion replay on their backswing and then they yank the handle. But in general, when you get that moving in a dynamic fashion, it gets into a really nice spot at the top.
As you're throwing it back, not putting it back, you're just ripping it back, you're stepping that way. So you get used to the feeling of throwing the club.
And moving in the opposite
Yeah.
direction.
Yes, you get used to that feeling of stepping and turning. So you forward, and as you throw the club head back, as soon as that club head gets past your feet, you step towards the target. And you that as you're moving laterally, you're just not moving laterally without anything turning. You are turning towards the target. Your chest is going away from the target. Your back is getting to the target as your pressure's working lead side. I mean, that is the essence of a loaded backswing. If you forget anything else, just get that awareness that the pressure and the ground's going that way as your upper body's going the other way. I mean, that's going to send it, right? Just feel yourself turn as much as you want. If you want your heel to come off the ground, I don't care, that's cool. But your pelvis and your sternum are turning towards or away from the target or towards the back of the room. And then from there, swing through. So that's number one. It's a great way to feel the... I don't mind the left knee going this way as the right hip goes that way. I have no problems with a coil like that. I'm not a massive believer in the knees needing to stay dead still. I used to be, but let's just look at all the great old school ball strikers. There's just too many. The Sneeds, the Palmers, the Hogans, the young Nicklases. All of them just having this lovely, Bobby Jones, all these lovely free turns on the way back, and then it's just so easy. You have so much space and so much time to send it. Maybe just because I'm a skinny fella, I just need the extra speed. Probably. Forward as you go back. You're pretty much the same thing you do in any other sport, right? When you're like batting or something, as the guy's delivering it. As you take the back lift, you're stepping. Tennis, as you're taking the racket back, you're stepping. Throwing, as you take the arm back, you're getting used to creating that separation as opposed to being too much of a move trail side and then whoop, try and do it late.
Well, I'm very round.
You are. And then as you're doing that too, to get more advanced just with even this one, as you're going back, you can throw it up. So you can get used to going up as you step down.
Okay.
So you can start to get some vertical,
Vertical as well. Okay.
which is the major component for speed, to be honest. Like high speed players will put, or even tour players will average about 200% of their body mass into the ground to get it. Yes, so there's a spiral up. As you stepping that forward, right hip goes up, right shoulder goes up, left hip goes down, left shoulder goes down. There is a left side bend as you turn. Absolutely. It's not just a flat turn, it is a tilt. But first get used to timing things before you try and add too much complexity, right? So, out, whereas there's only like 20-30% rotational force and bits and pieces. Most of it's vertical,
Okay.
ironically. So that's number one. As you throw it back, step forward. Next one is you do a bit of an opposite. It's quite tricky. So you start here, you step with the back foot, and then you start turning into the lead side, which I think would be quite easy for you because you naturally shift.
Yeah.
But this really exaggerates it because you step here and there's 100% of your mass is suddenly moving back here, but your only purpose, you step and then you try get back to left side.
Right, okay.
So it's like a resistance. It's a resistance drill, yeah. So you're there, step, and then forward again.
Love this. It's so important to understand that to go this way, you don't lift your leg and then jump that way. To jump that way, you're gonna push off your trail leg. So it's a great drill for learning. It's okay to move off the golf ball if you're gonna go back to the middle, right? And I've done a ton of Rory videos, that Hogan video I've done, which got a bunch of views. It just shows like these guys moving off to then get on. I know there's some examples of players that don't do that, like the unicorn guys that just sit up there and they just turn on the spot. Great iron players, but I do find a lot of the better wood players potentially have a little bit of this lateral movement, especially if you're not physically jacked. That little bit of extra lateral generates a lot of speed, or if you're trying to hit the ball over the back fence, it's good.
You'll find it really like, whoa, what's going on? But it's a great way to feel the pelvis trying to fight its way back here. It's awesome for effectively eliminating any of this is literally to step and then fight it back. Now, could you throw the forward in and go step back and then forward again? You could definitely do it. And then once you can get used to stepping that way.
Important, as I showed there, it's not your upper body pushing back lead side, it is your pelvis, your trunk. Your nose can almost stay back if you wanted to. You could get all David Phelps on it, have your head way back here. But it's the pelvis leading the arms, which then lead the club head. It's not the upper body, because the upper body goes forward, then it's going to go backwards when you want to go forwards, and then it's just a mess. So you're really trying to learn what it feels like to get your trunk, your hips, your ground working forward while the club's working back. Nice.
And through, stepping back, but still trying to get back lead side again. Then the final evolution is feet together, and then forward first if you really want. And then you're going to go right, club goes back, left. So it's a very fast 1-2 step. So forward, right, left, and then you're in a spot where you're fully loaded down.
You're not too far back on it though. I always come to here.
Yeah, so it's the pelvis that's moved forward. So effectively
This is my personal favorite once you can do the other two. The key with doing this to really make it functional, and so you can hit it as hard as you want on the way down with everything you've got, is to do it early, right? So before the club moves, you step right. It's a biggie. Then as the club's going back, certainly once it's in line with this trail pocket, you're stepping left. You're not waiting to the top to then step left. You're going right, left. So you're fully loaded, fully turned. I'm balanced 50-50, but my pressure is working hard into my lead side. I'm not here, and I'm certainly not there. I'm balanced. So you're stepping to balance. You're going right to the left, so you're balanced at the top. And then from here, I still like to see the pressure work further left, because obviously if I've gone too far left too early, then I'm gonna start pushing backwards at the wrong time. But it's just a case of getting awareness of what does it feel like to move your weight around into a balanced position. Challenging drill, but I think certainly if you've played other sports, you often, cricket, obviously, ball comes, there's a step to the delivery. You're playing tennis, you step your feet into position. It's like that little two-step, bang, bang. Baseball, I don't really know. I mean, you're here, and then I'm guessing it's mainly just a left foot step with baseball. I don't think they have time to do the right foot step. But most stick sports, ball sports, throwing sports, we have a little two-step motion where we're loading from the ground up, moving our pressure right, left. That quick lateral mixed in with rotational and vertical. Nice.
No, it's not you're not getting your spine to reverse spine tilt, and your pelvis is not kicking back. You're attempting to get it so that when you've stepped, you're trying to feel, reality is different to feel, but you're trying to feel like you get your left hip on top of your left ankle. You're trying to get the pelvis way forward. It's not like the old stack and tilt. You're not trying to get your spine forward. Your pelvis is going forward, and as long as your arms and hands are just going straight up in front of you, you're up in front. If your arms are up in front of your chest, you can turn as much as you want, and then you get the combo of high hands with big rotation and lots of pressure lead side. Whew. It's bomb material, right? Because then the arms can accelerate straight down because there's space for them to do so. And then when you've got high peak vertical pressure forward early, you can come off the ground early and accelerate.
Seriously, that's the combo for speed, right? You can find players with flat lead arms that hit it far, by all means. But your longest hitters in the world, like you go and look at world long drive guys, they all generally going to have the hand above the trail shoulder, and they're all going to have wild amount of turn, and they're all going to have their pressure working lead side early. It's a general pattern. Big turn, hands in a highly leveraged position, kinematic sequence, always the pressure shift working early lead side, so then it pushes back early, which gives them fast acceleration. Blah, blah, blah. But there is definitely a correlation from what I've seen in the last 20 years.
The club quicker. But those are three really good dance moves: forward, step, back, and then pressure, which leads really nicely into the There's three pretty good dance moves. One of them you're going to find super beneficial. One of them you're going to be like, meh, can't do it. Or you'll find real challenging. Perhaps the one you find challenging is really, really good. But definitely start with the old Happy Gilmore step first. It's the
And all of those with me doing it left hand only. I have not got the biggest arms in the world, but it's mainly just trying to show as well how driven the movement in my preferences is by the body. I'm not lifting the club up with my arms and then my body. My body is very much, my body's dragging the club up into the spot. And then my body's leading, so I can generate speed without having a ton of physical strength, because the body, the entire, every little bone on my frame is being used to generate the speed. Fortunately, you have to do that when you weigh as much as a wet towel.
easiest one. This one I think you'll find quite interesting, and then the two-step is really, really good. And then you'll instantly start to feel some pressure shifting, and when you go back to your normal stance, you'll automatically find it quite comfortable just to do lots of little toe tapping to feel the ground. And then when you go to get moving, you'll start to feel the back and how early you can start to generate more speed in the takeaway with the club head, but your body working away from the club head, which creates the width, creates the space, creates the speed. And it's kind of effortless speed because you're generating so much torque and speed going back. There's a lot to give.
Yeah, okay.
But if you go back too much straight and slow with very little rotation.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that a lot of great players seem to do a lot of, and the average golfer that I see doesn't do any of, is that whole little toe tapping. They really get into the ground before they hit, shall we say. So you'll see them, there'll be waggles, they'll be looking where they go, there's movement, there's movement, there's movement. And then when they start swinging, things look kind of somewhat stable. Even like trail foot almost looks like their right heel's almost staying on the ground, like they're stuck on the ground because they're pushing, so they're stuck. But they're not stuck before they hit. It's like they're playing any other sport. They're active, they're moving, they're ready, and then they're stable when they need to be stable. But there's movement and then stable, whack. You're getting into position, hit it, as opposed to being dead still and then all over the place, right? So it's an interesting concept. You have to muck around and find that for yourself, what your right dance move is. I mean, I'm experimenting at the moment. Always experimenting, but I'm experimenting at the moment with this kind of little three-step, almost a little Trevino-ish, where I set up here, helps with my alignment, getting too far to the right, so it helps when I start open, and then I give it a little 1, 2, 3, and then I turn back to the left. So step to the right, turn back to the left, or 1, 2, 3, and then whack. Also helps my brain go somewhat subconscious and respond the way I want it to respond with a series of set commands. It's not a whole topic. But movement early, getting into position, staying active, not getting stagnant is good. You look athletic, you feel, you can move, and watch ball strikers, watch the old videos, watch the old guys, and man, they're moving, and then they hit. They're not frozen like a statue and then try and rip the club back. Ground up, you want to move. You got no energy.
Yeah.
Whereas high-speed players are incredibly fast takeaway speed with a huge amount of turn and recentering.
But they almost not slow at the top.
Well, it's going to be slow at the top, because if you go, that's the tempo where you're accelerating hard at the start. So whether you're doing the step thing or not, so you step and you are throwing the club head back. So it's fast, then it's slow, and then it's fast. Not because I'm trying to slow down, because I have to get energy going the other way. So it creates that braking force. So visually, it would look like a player's going fast, slow, fast. That's the tempo you want to have, as opposed to the slow, fast, slow.
And you can't go fast. There's no.
No, there has to be a braking, deceleration, then to accelerate again.
Because that's when I always see you fast, you're not completing it.
Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with
the like the earlier thing I was talking about with fast takeaway to then a quick downswing as opposed to the slow to then fast. On average, when they test tour players, almost everyone's on a 3-to-1 ratio of downswing speed to backswing speed. The slower guys, obviously, a slower ratio, but there's this very tight correlation to that. And what I mean by the fast, slow, fast, it's just like you are generating force, and then there's a braking force, and that's all to do with like this early load, that being your peak here, it takes time to slow the club head down again as I'm going the other way, to then accelerate it again. So it's acceleration, acceleration. Whereas if I go slow and then accelerate, you can still hit it great, but there's just generally a certain flow or a pattern that you'll see, and it's this lovely rhythm to it that you'll notice with players that have this nice fast weight at the top, fast. It just has a certain sequence to it that is my preference. Fast, slow.
And you can't go fast, fast, fast. There's no.
No, there's always, there has to be a braking, deceleration, then to accelerate again.
Because that's when I always see fast, 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 you're not completing it.
Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with a snappy, fast takeaway as long as the body's moving it, and as long as the movement has been started, engaged by the body pulling it.
Yeah, okay.
And then, so yeah, it's definitely a fast, slow. Fast, slow.
Yeah, okay.
Let's get into it.
Right.
Right, let me know what you think of this format of me kind of commentating my own stuff. And also all those bits and pieces. There's a lot of heavy technical stuff going on in there, but hopefully it helps. Definitely try those 3 drills. The left foot step, always start with a Happy Gilmore step, and then work your way to the trail foot step, and then once you've got those 2 going, by all means have a go at the 2-step. Don't rush it, just get a feel for it. And as always, if any of this content was of any value to you, please do the old subscribe. If it wasn't, don't subscribe. But either way, probably comment, let me know your thoughts, because I love to have feedback and help me learn to get better at doing this and better at teaching in general. Thanks guys, appreciate your time and support. Ciao.